Gong He Fa Chai Humpnostication Proclamation.
Well, howdy folks, and welcome to the Arnold Palmer Invitational edition of the Humpnostication Proclamation. I am your host, Hump Baumgardner, and as always, this show is made possible by the good folks over at Gup's Corner, and the stats I use are powered by Fantasy National and FanShare Sports. Speaking of Fantasy National, you want to get over there before Thursday. Get yourself signed up. Prices are going up as well. They should. Get yourself locked in at that lower rate. All right, man, we got an abbreviated proclamation this week. I had to bring in a last-minute special guest. This week, I'm actually going to be joined by none other than Hump the Rapper. How are you today, Mr. Rapper? Yo, man, just don't get used to it. You know what I'm saying? Hump the Rapper ain't got time to be doing this, man. I'm out here in the dungeon. I'm getting my swole on. You know what I'm saying, man? You coming at me with this stuff. You understand that you literally sound like a crazy person right now. Come on, fool. I ain't got time for this, but I'll do it for you this one time. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, Rapper, I hear you, man. Well, let's get right into it, man. Let's move into that $9,000 and up range. The dude that's really catching my eye this week, and I'm frankly shocked, man, because this now is like 2 weeks in a row, and it's definitely Rickie Fowler. Right now he's got 11 tags on FanShare. He's only got a 75% sentiment rating. I'm not really sure what's going on there. He's got half the tags of Rory. In the guys that are 10,000 and up, he's got less than half the tags of Bryson DeChambeau, who's down in that $9,000 range. But it's really crazy to me, man. You know, Rickie loves Arnold Palmer. He's playing out of his mind right now. He's showing up as 20th overall in my mixed condition model this week. And most of all, he's really popping in a couple of areas. The long-term numbers on par 5s from the 550 to 600 yard range, as well as the par 4s in the 350 to 400 range. That's where the scoring's going to come from this week on this track. And Rickie looks really good in those numbers long-term. What's your take on Rickie Fowler? Yo, there's a lot of brothers out here flaking and perpetrating, man. Scared to kick reality, man. But Rickie, he ain't one of them, you know what I'm saying? Man, transformation on stage like a deception. But I'm not animated like a cartoon. I'm for real. Bow, bow, shooting like a harpoon. So let's groove with the smooth operator. That's what Big Daddy Kane said, you know what I'm saying? And Rickie, he's a smooth operator too. So you best be playing him, fools. All right. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you are on board with Fowler, Mr. Rapper. I'm really digging that. Love Rickie this week. Probably just going to bury him and see what happens there. Moving on now into the $8,000 range. I don't know, that there's a couple guys there that are kind of interesting to me. The first one is Daniel Berger. He currently has one tag there, so nobody's really talking about him. Had the injury, came back at Puerto Rico, had a second place finish. Last week at the Honda, he finished in 36th. My concern with Berger is that he basically putted his way to that 36th place finish. Hasn't been putting well, but really just putted out of his mind last week. His numbers for approach and tee to green last week were disgusting, but he gained a ton of strokes putting, ended up in 36. So, I mean, can he do that again this week at the Arnold Palmer? Unlikely. So he's definitely scary. Anything to say about Berger? Yo, nah. Hump the Rapper ain't even gonna come up with a rap for Daniel Berger. Waste my time with that fool. Come on, man. All right, man. Well, hey, not everybody can be down with the boog. I get it. What about another guy down there in that $8,000 range? This guy's showing up 27th overall in my Fantasy National mixed condition model this week. He ranks 10th in the ball striking numbers over the last 24 rounds, and he's really popping number one overall in that long-term range I already talked about, the par fives from 550 to 600. He's second in it again short term this year. That's Bubba Watson. What's your take on Mr. Bubba?
All right, now we're talking. Back to the lecture at hand. Perfection is perfected, so let me understand from a young G's perspective. It's like this and like this and like that and it's like that and like that and like this and it's like this. Yeah, that's right, man. Bubba Watson. Dude can bomb it real far. Like, take that driving, like, boom, you know what I'm saying? Goes all curvified and stuff. Man, that fool can play. I'm good with Bubba.
All right, man. Moving down into that $7,000 range. It's a dude that I'm just, I'm always riding him. Hasn't looked great recently. His last three tournaments, he miscut. Ended up 51st last week. That's my boy, Sung Jae Im. Sung Jae, man, he's just got solid ball striking numbers. I'm looking down at my notes here. He had a horrible third round last week, but other than that third round, I mean, he played pretty good last week, only finished 51st. I mean, this was a really popular guy earlier in the season, had some strong finishes. Now he's gone into a little bit of a slump and people are forgetting about Sung Jae. This is usually when I like to get back on guys, is when they were popular. All of a sudden they're not popular anymore. That's usually when you can get a guy to pop. Sung Jae, obviously talented. Talk to me about Sung Jae.
Yo, Hump, that's ridiculous. Let me tell you why, man. You starting to sound like Bob Kraft with those Asians, man. Like Two Live Crew back in the day. I think they had an Asian in their group. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, me so horny. Me love you long time.
You did. Okay. I see what you did there. You are crazy. All right.
Nah, man, I ain't down with Sung Jae. No way, man.
All right, man. I can dig it. Not everybody down with Sung Jae. All right, man. Finally, let's get into that $6,000 range. Down there's a few names that I'm kind of interested in. The main one that I'm looking at, though, and frankly, it has me nervous because I was on this guy every week to start the year, and he just never came through. That's Joaquin Niemann. I talked about him with Ben Cooley last week, and he's really standing out in the tee to green numbers. His last two tournaments, his ball striking numbers are good. His approach numbers are good. His putting is horrific. I mean, this is when I'm looking at dudes to play in tournaments, in the showdown rounds and the weekend rounds. That's what I look at. Who's striking the ball well, who's approaching well, and just terrible at putting. And that's kind of what Niemann has been these last 2 weeks. If that putter gets hot, I'm still scared of him. Talk to me about Niemann.
All right, now you talking, Hump. Now you talking. Called up the homies and I'm asking y'all, which park are y'all playing basketball? Get me to the court and I'm trouble. Last week messed around and got a triple-double. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Today was a good day, and it's gonna be a good day for your boy Niemann.
Yeah, man. I like it. The other guy that I'm looking at here, and oh man, it's making me sick because I don't know if there's some kind of Canadian conversion with the numbers. He just always looks good and he never plays well, at least when I play him, and that's Corey Connors. What's your take on Corey Connors?
I mean, are we even really going to talk about this right now, man? Corey Connors done you dirty so many times, fool. You got to get off that stuff, man. Crack is whack, and so is Corey Connors. Don't go back.
Thank you for that. I do appreciate that because I really do need someone to remind me. Canadian conversion, do not play Corey Connors. All right, Mr. Rapper, before we wrap up the show here, we got to hear it from you. What's going on in the Gups Corner one and done? Where do you stand? And more importantly, who are you on this week?
Yeah, man, you know, Humps, I had some issues, man. Couple missed cuts. And then, like, man, I had that WGC where ain't nobody missed the cut. And I forgot to put in my one and done, so I missed the cut in a no-cut event. That really hurt. But let me tell you something, man. My boy Ricky, he came up good last week. Got me over that $1 million mark. I'm sitting around 1,000th place, maybe 1,073 to be exact. I didn't check a file today or nothing, but I think that's where I am. But I'll come on strong in segment number deuce. So don't y'all sleep on Hump the Rapper. So it's time to break out the big guns, man. I can't mess around with this stuff anymore. That's why I'm going to the land down under. Yeah, where women flow and men plunder. Can't you hear that thunder? Yeah, I say you better run. You better take cover. Right, Vegemite sandwiches everywhere. My boy, Jay Dizzle, Jason Day. That's my one and done this week, yo.
All right, Rapper, thank you so much for joining me on short notice. Really do appreciate it. Until next time, keep your eyes on the prize, your hands up on the wheel. Dadgum bums are humping, folks.
Yeah, like I said, fool, don't get used to it. Keep your guests on time and stop bothering Hump the Rapper.